Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are doing well. Today, we're going to be ranking every single character in Marvel Rivals from worst to best. So, this video is just going to be my personal opinion of what characters I think are the strongest in the game, the ones that I want to see in my lobby the most, the ones I want to see do the best, okay? And you might be like, I already know where you're going to rank healers and tanks because I've watched those videos. Wrong. Those were a while ago, and when I say while, I mean a couple weeks, and everything changes. Now listen, this list is going to be subjective, and I know that there's going to be people that disagree with literally every single thing I say on this list. This is coming from a gold player that has been playing this game a while, played a good amount of Overwatch 2, but a very long time ago, so he's watched and enjoys the game and has realized some of the players that he sees that are the best, characters that are the worst, and his overall opinion. So, if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and please do not shit on me too much down below. But other than that, let's get into it. It hurts to put Mr. Fantastic last. It actually really does. A DLC character being the worst character in the game is kind of insane. But the reason I have him at so bad is because he just sucks. His health is fine. He's kind of like a mini tank, also DPS hybrid. He's got a lot of health for a DPS, and he's one of the more difficult guys to use. But the problem is that he is a up close range character used without the mobility that close range characters are supposed to have. For example, he doesn't have the crazy health of other tanks, although he has some, so it's hard for him to not have that movement. And all the other up close and character DPSs have crazy movement. Think of Black Panther, think of Wolverine, even Iron Fist after the nerf. Mr. Fantastic, in my opinion, it sucks to say because I feel wrong saying it, is the worst character in the game, in my opinion. And you know the crazy part is in terms of DPSs, I don't think it's even close. Jeff the Landshark is the second worst character in the game at number 36. And the reason he's not just in last place is because at least his ult is one of the best in the game. And that is saying a lot, but everything else about him sucks. His health is pretty trash, obviously, but because he's a healer, it makes sense. His healing is good, but his other heals are stronger. He can't heal at a super far distance. His damage is horrible. His bubbles ability with his heals are fine, but it's only good in very specific situations. The only reason he's not last is his stupid ass ult. If you use Jeff, I know the kind of person you are. I know that you were dropped as a kid at night. I know that you probably live with your parents or your mom doesn't love you. Probably both, honestly. And I know I'm a 20-year-old living with my parents, but at least I'm not playing Jeff. And Jeff sucks. He's a horrible character, and if you use him, go fuck yourself. Scarlet Witch is the third worst character, coming at number 35. And the reason I have her so low is because as a DPS, you don't need to have great aim. You have to be very close and personal to do damage with Scarlet, and her damage is weak. Like, it's not like she's a character that you can get up close and really hit people and do tons of damage quickly. No, she can fly, cool. She has the ability to vanish, cool. She has a great ult, but she takes so long to actually use her ult that it's super fucking easy to dodge, although it's really nice to have it on the point sometimes. And also, because she has to fly in front of everyone while using her ult, it's very easy for her to die while using it, unless you have some sort of healer with you. So she is not a very good character to use. She's horrible. I don't think that she's very good. Her damage isn't high enough for her to be so close and be useful. I think it really is she is a massive disappointment, and it sucks to say it, but I don't like Scarlet Witch at all. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this one, but number 34, I have Captain America. The reason I have Captain America so low is because I think he's one of the weakest tanks in the game. Actually, in fact, I think he's the worst tank in the game. And the reason I think he's the worst tank in the game is because he doesn't have the health of some of these other tanks. He doesn't have the unique abilities of some of these other tanks. He's a tank with a lot of mobility, his ability to sprint, his ability to dash forward with the shield, but I don't think that he suffices the tank role enough. I just don't think that he's good enough to really be a super brutal tank that you need to have. Like, if let's say you're doing a 1 tank strat, right? You're doing a 2 DPS, 3 support, 1 tank strat. There is no fucking shot you can use Captain America as your tank. He just doesn't block enough damage. And I know he has the shield, and I know he's got more health than most characters, but in terms of tank, the role that he's trying to play, he does a horrible job at it. He's not a very good character. Here's the thing. I know a lot of people like him. I know a lot of people are gonna come up to me and say, Legend Stewart, whatever your name is, god damn it, you fucking don't know shit about Marvel Rivals. Captain America's a great character. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. I don't like him. a feeling that this one is going to be one that I would be more inclined to change my mind on, which is Black Widow. Now, Black Widow's a difficult character to use. She has her close range baton, her melee attack, and then she's got her long range sniper. But Black Widow, I just don't think fits the other roles very well. Like, I've never been in a game when Black Widow's on the enemy team and I'm like, holy shit, this Black Widow's kicking my ass. She's just like such an average player, and she's so average all the way around, besides her sniper, which is nice for long range, but she's so average in every other aspect all the way around, to the point where she doesn't really excel in anything, to the point where it makes her super useful in certain situations. She's always just okay to have in every single situation, and I don't think that's good enough for her, and I think that she could be way better in other spots, but I don't think Black Widow's that great of a character. The funny thing about Storm as our next character that we're gonna have on this list is I just don't think that she's very good flying character. I think she's the worst flying character in the game. She hovers more than actually flies around. Her movement is okay. It's more of a hover, like I said. And the thing I really like about Storm actually now is her team up ability with the Human Torch, the fire tornado that happens. I think that's really, really cool. But the reason I have her so low is because I think that every other flying ability character, whether it's Human Torch, whether it's Iron Man, whether it's other characters in the game, I think that they all do a better job of what she's trying to accomplish. She's got some great things about her with her ultimate, which I think is very good. But I've never, like I said, all of these characters I have on the bottom, I've never been like, damn, this is the fucking, like, I can't believe that they're on this team. I have to ban them. It's never been like that, and I just don't think she's that great of a character. Rockets don't do enough. That's the thing about Rocket. I got a lot of shit from my last video where I said, if you play this character, you're this type of player. And the thing I said about Rocket is you either never heal, you only do damage with your gun, or you only heal and you don't do damage with your gun. It's one of the two. You only do damage, you do no damage. You only heal or you don't heal. That's always what it is. Rocket is so up and down, and he does absolutely nothing damage-wise from a distance. And as a character with such little health, you have to be able to do damage up close. Think about all the other great healers in the game. Luna Snow, Invisible Woman, Mantis, Loki. What do they all can do in common? Even Adam Warlock. They can all shoot from distances, get headshots, or just do damage from distance. He can't. He can't do that. And then when he gets up close, and his healing is fine, he can't do direct heals. His heal come in these spheres that can only heal people around them. So if you have characters with tons of movement, it's really fucking hard to heal them, especially because it heals gradually when you're next to it. Rocket is not a very good character. I think he's the second worst healer in the game besides Jeff, although he is way more usable than Jeff, because at least he has some things good about him besides just his stupid ass ult. But I will say Rocket has a really good ult with his ability to revive himself and revive teammates to a certain spawn point. That's a great thing about him. It's great for late game checkpoints, but overall, let's be fucking real. Rocket sucks. Let's be real about Iron Fist. If this was pre-patch, Iron Fist is a top 5 character in the entire game, but post-patch, because of his nerf and damage in close range, especially against smaller enemies like healers and people with less health, Iron Fist just isn't the same. He's got a great ultimate ability, and he's got great movement abilities and his ability to heal himself, but ever since his new fucking rework of the season 1.5, he just isn't as good as he used to be, and it's unfortunate because I know Iron Fist needed a nerf, but they nerfed him from one of the best players in the game to one of the weakest pieces of shit in the entire game. That's just unfortunate. I think he's a fine character. I think he's really good, and I think we're finally getting to that level where all of these characters that I'm going to be starting to name are useful in certain aspects, and he's great in that high movement, high volume, high damage output, but because he got nerfed, it makes him the worst out of this category of DPSs. And when you're the worst at a category that other DPSs are also within, or just other characters in general are within, then why would I ever pick you? And the same thing goes for Magic at our number 29 spot. It's not the fact that I think she's some horrible character. It's just the unfortunate truth that she also fills the melee damage output, high volume, high mobility, slashing forward, dashing at enemies. She fills that exact same void, but there's characters in the game like Black Panther, like Wolverine, that are better. Now, I do think Magic is better than a character like Invincible. Wow, I was just watching the show. Than like Iron Fist, but I think that she is a little bit better than him, but she doesn't do anything better to the point where she significantly passes him, or it comes even close to some of the other, you know, melee DPSs that we have on this list. So everything I kind of said about Iron Fist, where he's great, but he was nerfed, but he does this thing and he doesn't do it as well as other characters. Take her in terms of doing things well, but not as good as other characters, and put it in that same list, and that's why she's at number 29. Venom is so average, it's kind of unbelievable. His movement swing is really nice for a tank, and I think it's awesome, and he's got some great things about him, and he's got a great invincible bubble. He's got a great armor bubble, but overall, when I compare him to other tanks, I'm just like, why the fuck would I ever use Venom? That's the weird thing. He's fine. He's a whatever character, but I don't think that he's anything remotely special compared to any of the other characters that I'm going to mention in this video, especially beefy tanks. He's got some great melee attacks and he can do high damage, but like I said, he fits the category. And let me just give you other melee tanks that I think are better. I think a melee tank like Thor, a melee tank like even the Thing, the new character, or even Hulk, are better for this specific category than Venom. And Venom doesn't bring anything to the table that those other characters don't also bring. Squirrel Girl is so up and down, I actually don't even know it's a thing. This is probably my least knowledgeable character in the entire game. Now, first off, I think her design's really cool. She's got some really cool things about her, but the reason I have her this spot at the list is because I just am unfamiliar with her game. I even played her a little bit before I made this video, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I feel like she's a pretty good character, but I just don't know how to use her. And I feel cheap saying that in this video because I just think that I'm not very good using her. I've played Squirrel Girls that kicked ass. I've played Squirrel Girls that are horrible. She's one of those characters that I'm just kind of confused on. I think that she's better than everyone else I said underneath her. And there is possibility that she can move up on the list, maybe if I play her more and understand her more. But as I play her today, I'm just confused. I'm not really concerned and really willing to learn how to do her character in the best way possible. And I feel like every time I try, I'm missing the mark, but I've seen other people use her so well. So Squirrel Girl is a character that I feel bad putting at this point in the list, but it's not really my fault because I just don't know how to use her. Human Torch. Now, Human Torch is coming at number 26 spot, and the reason he is coming significantly higher than Mr. Fantastic or even the other flying character of Storm is because I think his fire shield, I forgot the name of it, like the fire lanes are fucking great, and his ultimate is phenomenal. I think it's so good. But the weird thing about the Human Torch is his flying like mechanics, where he flies quicker and gets all flamed up, is a bit wonky. It's a bit strange. It's not fully fleshed out. It feels janky. It doesn't feel great. I don't know what exactly it's missing. I feel like if you just made him to have a similar flying effect to Iron Man, it would have been much better than whatever we got, because I feel like it's a little bit out of place. But the other thing that I do like most about Human Torch, or I don't say like, but I'm confused the most, is he's got those fire rings around him, and those are only animation. They're not doing any damage. The fire that flies around him. How much better would a character like Human Torch be if those fires did damage, lingering fire damage to people that came up close to him? The reason I think Human Torch is better than some of the other flying characters is because he can do that lingering damage even after he's done, you know, being the fire directly onto people. But I just think his flying is so weird and janky and not crisp that it really brings him down a whole level. You like Tracer in Overwatch, where you're probably gonna like Star-Lord in Marvel Rivals at our number 25 spot. Now, the reason I think he is so good is because he's got that movability, the double jump, the boost, the shooting, right? He's just similar to Tracer, but what makes him really great is two things. His sort of shooting around ability that I can kill multiple people at once. That is one of the strongest abilities of any DPS in the game, and I think it's so fucking useful. The thing about him, though, is when you catch him, when you stun him, no matter if you're using something like a Penny Parker or a Mantis ability, anything that can stun players, if you stun him, he's fucked. He can't do shit. He can't move around, and you can kill him instantly. But when he's got movement like he does, he can be an incredible character to use, and he can be very difficult to kill. I just don't think his damage output with his pistols are enough unless you're super close, and when you're going up against melee characters, the melee character is going to win every single time. So he's a fun character to use, and he's got incredible mobility, and he's got a great ability shooting around the block, but I just don't think it's enough to really put him into that upper echelon of DPSs. Black Panther was a character I was not very high on, but the reason I think that I'm getting more and more happy with him is because I think he's everything that Iron Fist was, but in that newer version. And he might maybe not as strong as Iron Fist, but he's got a great dashing ability where he can kick around. He's got a really good ultimate ability. He's got a spear ability from range, and he's got a great movement. So it's not like he's just a melee character with nothing to do from the back end. He also can have those range attacks, and that's something important. A lot of these melee characters, if they're going to be only melee or have great movement, they need to have something to push the back on. And he does. He has that thing to push back on. It's his spear ability, and I think that's awesome. So Black Panther, one of the coolest design characters in the game, one of the most aura characters in the game. Shout out my brother T'Challa, Wakanda forever, whatever you want to say. But he is a fucking fantastic character, and I think that he's really, really good in his lane, and he definitely is much better than a character like Iron Fist or Magic. Hulk has found himself into the number 23 spot, and the reason that he has found himself so high is because of his ultimate ability, where he just gets so much health, and he just smashed shit. He's a fucking thing to be, he's a force to be reckoned with. And the thing about Hulk as well is when you kill him, he's not actually dead, and that's a very useful ability. He turns back into Bruce Banner. Give him a little bit of time, you can easily go right back to the whole Hulk smash, go into Hulk mode. He's one of the coolest things in the game, where you can have people slam him back and forth. It's very similar to obviously the first Avengers movie where he does that to Loki. It's very, very cool. Hulk is one of the best made characters in the entire game. He's super fun to use, and that's why I think I have him so high. It's because he's just a treat to have in the game, no matter what he does. Now, when I said earlier that melee tanks are being mandatory, Hulk definitely fits the melee tank aspect way more than a character like Venom does. And when he super Hulks, Monster Hulks, look at that shit. Look at that shit. That's crazy. Monster Hulk is really fucking good. Hulk is really good. Banner even has some good guns and shit. You don't know, but Hulk is a very strong character. What's going on with flying characters just not being able to get into that upper echelon of Marvel Rivals heroes? I don't know why, but Iron Man is our next character. And now Iron Man has what the Human Torch and Storm doesn't, which is the best flying mechanic movement in the game. He doesn't hover, he doesn't move around weird, he just is great at flying and his movement's the best. But what Iron Man also has is his maximum pulse ult, which is one of the best ults in the game, especially for damage. It's fantastic. It's able to completely take out points, take out anyone to point no matter what it is. They have to either somehow escape last second, have crazy movement, or put up a shield, and it makes them all super vulnerable. He's got his really good plasma bolts as well with his two different attacks, his rocket attacks, and it's the fact that he can shoot from such far damages and such far ranges and still do the exact same amount of damage with no damage drop off or no velocity drop off is really, really good. Iron Man's a treat. Tony Stark's always great, and Iron Man is the best flying character in the game, at least pure flying, not hovering, and that's why I have him so high. Next up, we have Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man might have the best movement of any character in Marvel Rivals, and he has a great stun ability. He's one of the most powerful DPSs in the game, but the reason I have him in the middle of the pack is because once you stun him and take away his movement, he's very easy to kill. And I know you can say that's the case for a lot of characters, but Spider-Man's a guy with low health that really strives on that movement. And the thing about Spider-Man is you have to be a fantastic player to be well with Spider-Man. The problem with him is the fact that it's either all or nothing. There's no in between. Like if you're a character, if you're a guy like me who's pretty good, you're gonna be bad with Spider-Man. You have to be fantastic. If we were doing this based off of who has the most potential and the best ever, then Spider-Man could be near the top. But because we're doing this based off of just generality of who I think is the best character and who I've seen myself go up against, Spider-Man unfortunately lands kind of middle of the pack. Again. One of the most unique things about any character, number 20, Winter Soldier. His ability to use his ult multiple times is awesome. But what really makes him so fucking good is his abilities between his melee attacks and his ranged attacks. Like, that is what makes him incredible. He's such a great DPS for both sides of the ball. He really plays his role well. I don't gotta say too much about Winter Soldier. He does a fantastic job. What Cyclops does that the other melee characters don't do is her ability to dash and her ability to go invisible. Like, the thing that I think about melee characters is if they're in a sticky situation, they're dead right away. But she has an escape route. Her invisibility, her way to move through that, that's what makes her great. She's not one character that if you're gonna cook her and you're gonna get close to her and you have a shot on her, you're gonna kill her right away. She has the ability to go invisible. Great variety with her sword, a great job of her movement, and she has such unique abilities, and she is bad as hell, so that's a big plus, but you gotta give love and respect where it's due. I used to think Namor was the most overrated character in the entire game, but I was wrong. Not just because of his little squid minions that shoot for him or his ranged attacks. He's got a great ult with that whale that comes down, but him being here is a perfect spot. He's a great character that does so many different things so well, and you have nothing but respect for a character like him who really knows his way around everything. Groot is a defense tank at heart. His walls that he creates, his insane amount of health, probably the most health in the game, his damage that he does, he is such a unique character that can both do healing, that can both do damage to enemy teams, that can stun enemy teams with his ultimate effect. Groot is one of the most unique and best characters in the entire game, and he has to be a really good player to use up And if you have one, he's fantastic for shutting down different sites, for defending against an escort, to attacking and tunnel visioning certain players. He is great at being a silent but deadly player that will put himself right in the front, take on a bunch of damage, cut off lanes, and only force the enemy team around certain paths that he can exploit, manipulate, and destroy the enemy team, and that's why he's in this position. Thor is everything you want in a melee tank, with the lightning ability to dash forward, with him being able to throw his hammer, and with him having a boost for himself that he can hit. He's got the mobility and the melee damage of anyone ever. Dominance in combat is Thor. He's able to manipulate and destroy anyone in front of him, and if they try to get away, then he has a way to chase after them. And as a tank, that's very important because you can very easily be stagnant, but the best tanks have abilities to move themselves forward, to get themselves in the way of other players, and Thor does that exceptionally well. The best melee DPS of any character in the game, of anybody, Wolverine. His ability to jump in midair, catch people, stun them, pin them, and fucking pin them against the wall and fucking scratch at them. The way he can go berserk and do even more damage, the way that his ultimate goes crazy, the way he can regenerate health. Everything about Wolverine is fantastic. As a melee DPS, he fits every single box, checks them all flawlessly, and he's definitely deserving to be as high as he is at number 15. The thing about Cloak and Dagger is you get the best of both worlds. You get the great healing on one side, and then the other side, you get basically another version of Scarlet Witch. Now, Scarlet Witch isn't a very good character, so it's like having both sides be not the best they can be, but a little bit less than the best they can be, which makes sense for the character that she is, but you can't put her any higher because she doesn't excel at one certain thing like any characters above her. She's just really good at both, and because of that, she is a great character, but you can't put her on the other echelon because she isn't perfect for every single situation like some of these other characters are. Although she's got the jack of all trades, she's got everything, the variety and more, she's just not the best. Number 13, the Punisher, with one of the best abilities of any character in the entire game, which has gotta be the turret ability. The amount of fucking damage you can do with that turret is unrealistic, especially at its range. But the other thing that's really good about him is his ultimate ability, which is one of the strongest in the game, and can do a variety of damage to multiple people, especially because you get a lot of armor with it, and you can have healers behind you. Another great thing about his character that is so good is his shotgun ability, his ability to kill people up close and do fuck tons of damage, whether it's tanks, DPS, or heroes, supports, it doesn't matter. He does an incredible job at whatever position you put him at, and that's something important because you need that variety as well as excelling in one thing. And what does the Punisher excel at? Damage from range and damage up close, which you can't say that for most of the other characters in the game, and that's why Punisher is so fucking good. Let's talk about the DPS that does the most damage per one single shot. Hawkeye. But then why don't you have him on the list? He's got the most damage for headshots that can one-shot certain supports and DPSs. He's got incredible mobility with his repelling ability. But the thing about Hawkeye is, although he does so much fucking damage, he's so goddamn easy to kill, it's unreal. Especially if you have him in a one-on-one situation. He has to hit his first shot perfect or he's dead. Takes a 1 second to charge him up, and he's a great character for what he is made for, but you have to be a perfect shot for Hawkeye to be excused as in playing. And if you're not a perfect shot, or at least really close, then you're gonna have to use someone else that is gonna be better. Hawkeye has the most potential maybe of any character on this entire list, but he doesn't quite get into that upper echelon because you have to be a perfect shot with him. Also, I think his ultimate is pretty trash. Let's talk about a character that I was severely wrong with, Magneto. Another guy that you need to hit your shots with. Has a very slow fire rate, but when he hits his shots, those headshot multipliers go crazy. He's got a great shield ability for tanks that are able to block a ton of damage. He's got an incredible ult, which is one of the best in the game at not just hurting players, but stunning them and using it right away. He is one of the most unique characters in the game. He can shield himself. He just has so much going for him, and I think he's a fantastic tank, and he really deserves the spot he's in, and I think he's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the top 10. Number 10 is Penny Parker. Now, the reason I have her so high, she is my most used tank in the entire game. My second most used character in the entire game. But I can tell you when she is not the right position. She is the best defense tank in the entire game. In defense escorts with her mines, her spider webs, her stun ability, it's the best in the game. What is she the worst at? Attacking. She's not the wholeheartedly worst, But the thing about Penny is she is sneaky, mines, spider webs, spider nests, stun abilities, and a great ultimate as well. That might not be the best, but she has the sweep that can do a tons of damage and really get that backline. But she is easy to kill in her ult, which is unfortunate. Penny Parker is one of the best characters in the game. And if it was me based off my favorite characters to use, she'd be number 2. But I can understand why some people don't think she's the best in the game, even though I do think she is. The spider nest is ridiculous and you can use it all the time. The mines, the fact that you can stack them on top so much. The amount of times that I've used this in an entrance where people walk on the entrance and die to mines right away. I know it's kind of a newbie strat, but people fucking fall for it all the time because they don't know if Penny Parker's gonna be there. Penny Parker is one of the best characters in the game. She's so fucking fantastic, and she definitely deserves to be number 10. Adam Warlock isn't simply here just because of his snow bonding, his healing ability, or his ability to do a lot of damage as a healer, but his cocoon ability for all players and his amazing ult are fucking awesome. It's so good. The fact that he can regenerate all his other teammates and have them be in one spot at the same time when they're all dead is fucking awesome. The fact that he's able to heal and soul bond with certain teammates that you know is low and stay on them for a very long time is amazing. Adam Warlock is one of those characters where if you're healing, you're running Adam Warlock, I'm like, all right, I know this guy's a good player. And healers, you know, are naturally going to be very useful in lists, but damn, Adam Warlock is fucking incredible. Pre-patch, we're looking at one of the best characters in the game here. Post-patch, we still are, but not quite number 1. That's the thing about Hella. I have the second best DPS in the entire game, and the reason is not just because of her disappearance ability, her ability to use spikes, her incredible ult, her amazing flying ability, and her dove ability. But she just got the whole package. Great headshot multiplier, great job at hitting her shots, and her ability to really do everything and have a lot of health for a DPS. Let's talk about a character in Hella that really has the whole package and more. As the number 8 spot in this list, she definitely deserves to be here. And pre-patch, I could see her at number 1. That's how fucking great of a character she was. And even after you nerf her, she's still this good. That should tell you everything you need to know about Hella. It's insane a guy like Loki is only number 7. That just tells you how stacked this lineup is. His ability to clone is one of the most unique abilities in the game. His ability to turn his ult into any ult of any player in the entire game, your team or the other team, is crazy because it's literally useful for every single player in the entire game or every single situation. That is the most overpowered ability right there. That is the most overpowered ability in the game. That right there. His clones are great. His healing and damage with the clones. The only thing about him is that his clones are really easy to kill. So if you can constantly keep killing his clones, it's great. Now people say, well, you just put your clones on the back line, they're impossible to kill. Well, the problem with that is it has to be in open map areas where it's not super tight and super compact. And when you have them on the back line, it's easy for your healing and your ults to not be doing everything it can be. So that's why people won't do that. And even if they do that, it won't be maxed out to their fullest potential. Either way, though, it doesn't matter. Loki's still one of the best characters in the game, one of the best healers in the game. Great for damage, great for heals, great for disappearing, great for teleporting between his clones so that you never know exactly where he's going to be. He's phenomenal. Don't sleep on Loki. He definitely deserves to be this high. This could be me overreacting too soon, but the Thing is a rock star, pun intended. He is fucking awesome. I love the Thing, but the reason he's so good is because of his defensive capabilities as a tank. His ability to stun, like I know his ult takes a while to charge up, but if he gets that ult up, bro, the stun is ridiculous. His ability to smash onto a point, his ability to jump to his teammates and help them on the back line, his ability to his super long charge up punch, his double punch ability. He is one of the most unique characters in the game. He is Hulk but better. He is Thor but better. He has the melee capabilities of these guys. Now, the reason he's not number 1 as the best tank is because he can't shoot from range, right? I mean, that's just an obvious thing, an obvious like downside to him. You have to be close up, but because he's got the ram ability and his ability to jump between guys, his ability to move quickly, that's what makes him so good to the point where that range isn't as big of a problem. But because that range problem is still there, you can't put him in the top 5. I think that this is going to be a controversial pick. As the number 5 spot and the best DPS in the game, I have Moon Knight. And the reason I have Moon Knight is an incredible ult. The Moon! It's an incredible ult. Not just that, but his damage with his pings that he does, his little shrines, those are incredible. His pins, awesome. Not just that. His boomerang ability is great. His slash ability is great. His flying is great. He's got the movement, he's got the damage, he's got the range, and he's got it all. And the fact that he can kill multiple people in a multiple spot with one shot makes him one of the best and most efficient DPSs in the entire game. And I think he is the best DPS. I think he's got the most potential and he's fucking phenomenal. Maybe he doesn't do the most damage like a guy like Hawkeye in one shot, but he can move to multiple people at once in a certain area. And if they're not paying attention, they are fucked. That's how good of a character he is. He's so great at killing multiple people at once, which is a job that not many DPSs can do. And the fact that he does it better than literally anyone else, especially with that ring ability, that whole ability is the reason why he's number 1, especially because you could constantly use it over and over again and stack them. Crazy. He's the best DPS in the game. He comes in at number 5. The best Fantastic Four character in the entire game, the Invisible Woman. Her ability to shield people, her great ult turning people invisible, the fact that she's invisible before she shoots, her amazing healing, her damage from long range. She is the entire package. The only reason that she's not number 1 is because there is a character that is number 1 that does what she does but better. But she's still fantastic. If you put Invisible Woman, I'm like, yes, we're good on heals this match, guys. I can run my DPS. If you put Invisible Woman, okay, we're good. We're gonna have armor. Her shield ability, the fact that she can protect other players. Like say a player is getting maximum pulse by Iron Man, you put that shield up, they're good. That's how good that shield is. She is incredible. She's one of the best characters in the game. And the fact that she's only the 3rd best healer is insane. But she's still fucking amazing. It's funny because there's obviously a support bias within this list because supports are everything in Marvel Rivals. But at number 3, I have Mantis. This is my most used character in the game, and I'm gonna have a bias towards her. It's funny, in my video ranking healers and supports, I put Invisible Woman 2 and Mantis 3. But I'm changing my mind. And the reason I'm changing my mind is the headshot capabilities with Mantis. Her ability to have headshot damage from a far range, her incredible stun grenade ability that is insanely useful for anyone trying to 1v1 kill you in certain situations. The fact that she can orb and heal multiple people at once gradually and give them damage boosts. Mantis does everything to help the team and help herself. If you play Mantis, you better have 10,000 healing and 10,000 damage. That's how helpful she is on both sides, and that's why she deserves to be so high. If this was my personal list of who I think is my favorite, I'd have her number 1, but because of general consensus and what I've seen other players do, I have her at number 3. The best damage and tank in the game. His portal ability alone moves him into the top 15 of this list. But everything else with the massive shield that he has, the great range he has, although it's not incredibly far, but the great range he has, the damage he does, there's a reason why Doctor Strange is going to be number 2 on this list. As the best tank in the game, he is fucking incredible. He does everything right, as any tank should. The reason why I have him so high is because of the range, is because of his ability to shoot at multiple people, because of his ability to levitate when he's in trouble, because of his ability to not just shield himself like Magneto, but shield people around him as well, helping your entire team, your backline, and his amazing portal ability and his Eye of Agamotto to stun everyone in a certain area. He is one of the greatest characters in the game. He is the best tank, and he is number 2. No fucking shadow of a doubt. You knew who was coming. The best ult in the game, besides maybe Loki's, if you want to count his because he doesn't have his own, he has everyone else's. The best ult in the game. The most efficient girl in the game. The greatest healing in the game. Fantastic headshot multiplier and damage in the game. There's no one better. She's the best in the game. She has the best healing. She got the best damage as well for a healer. She is everything and more. She's got great music. She's got everything. She's got great mobility with her skating. There's not a better character in the game. Luna Snow is the number 1 character in Marvel Rivals. And if you disagree, I get it if it's one of the top 4. But I think that she is I don't want to say by far, but she is definitely the best character in the game. Like when I was making this list, I was like, Strange and Luna is definitely 1 and 2. But I just need to find out the order, but I was like, they're definitely the best 2. So that's everything I gotta say. Luna Snow is fantastic at every single capability. Healing, DPS damage. I mean, she does everything. She does everything, and she's got the best ult in the game. So, I mean, what do you want me to say? She's the best. She's just the best. She's the best. But that is my entire list. Now, I used a tier list for me to rank this out, so if you want to see it, this is a tier list I made, and this is how I have every single character. So if you want to see it all at the end, this is where I have everyone. I can see myself moving it around, but this is how I have my list. So let me know what you guys think as I categorize these people out. And I appreciate you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to have more amazing content coming for you guys very, very soon. But that's all I have. You guys are the absolute best. And I'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers in Christ. in the next video. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.